So in this video, I'm going to be discussing a lot of the subjects that have been brought up in the comments section, and of course, expanding upon a lot of the different points that I've made in various other videos. And it's always important to start off videos like these, where we're going to be discussing the long term of the cryptocurrency space by discussing Bitcoin. Of course, it's very difficult to talk about any particular dollar value of anything that's in the altcoin category without talking about Bitcoin and how things are actually going, because it's very inspired by what's actually currently happening in the space. So all those variables definitely do compile to bring us what we can expect to see. Of course, in the overall future of how Cardano is going to be taking things from here on out, and we have to discuss the overall concept of Bitcoin as the sort of introduction as digital gold, and then bringing upon itself Ethereum, which then of course is what we could sort of talk about the natural evolution of cryptocurrency and the concept of the smart contracts. And then of course it does bring me to a central point that I'd really like to emphasize as the theme of this video, which is of course the academic credentials that Cardano has going for it, and a multitude of other compiling variables that of course in not withstanding. Now, I think that whether your opinions on Charles Hodgkinson are that he's the man, or whether you have some sort of gripe with him, I think that it's important to just give crypto its time of day. When we're doing that, we have to think about 1 year ago, where did we expect to see Cardano right here? Is dramatically different from exactly where we've gotten it, and that definitely does bring me to my point about this article right here. So Shelly to get in testnet before mainnet launch. Cardano, an ambitious research-oriented blockchain, has slowly been transitioning into a new era, which will transition the project to proof-of-stake consensus. However, the launch of Shelly has been plagued with problems and delays. However, Hodgkinson, the founder and CEO, you all know this. The company behind Cardano responded that the slow development was due to the company's thorough and detailed approach to building Cardano. The project celebrated its second anniversary on September 28th, and I think that right now the people who are quick to jump down Cardano's throat fail to actually see the writing on the wall. I personally am just stacking my sats and stacking my ADA and the various different cryptos that I'm passionate about, and still at this time I think that people fail to recognize the gift that we have. The sort of theme that plays itself out in the cryptocurrency world is that the community is given a gift, now of course like crypto is being on sale, and then they view it as a curse, and then when they're given a curse, which is crypto is being overvalued, well, they drain all their USD onto a percentage of it, which is just, if the timing isn't right, you're not going to be able to have as strong a portfolio as you may have already had the potential to acquire. And of course, one of the most beautiful things I would say that cryptocurrency is in the whole decentralized aspect of it is it really does put the power of all these different aspects right into the palm of the hands of anybody with access to the internet, anybody with access to cell phones and all these different things. And I think that sort of power is it's concerning to people. It's intimidating because it really does show whether you have whether you have the juice or not, the intelligence, the willpower. It brings it all out. It puts it on the table, and we could see it. So funny enough, we have McCafe Bitcoin's scarcity will trigger its price to hit 1 million in 2020, which would be pretty exciting. The dick eater himself coming out, but but hey, we can all dream, and I mean, I think that he's a funny dude. Regardless, of course, a more realistic perspective on these things do, of course, take into consideration the supply shock. The upcoming supply shock. The fact that only so many people all around the world could actually own a full Bitcoin, and right now we are in a very interesting point in history, which is of course why whenever I make these videos, I know that I'm creating a piece of content that will go down in history. I know that in the future, just the same way that we go through the catalogs of people who complain, or at least were complaining when Bitcoin would go from like $200 to $100, and that would be a 50% loss, and people were wondering whether it was going to go to zero back then. They were talking about the potential of it being 1,000. I mean, we're talking about 2011 sort of Bitcoin conversation here, now sort of a nostalgic throwback to what almost seems to be an ancient era. And the fact of the matter is that things move so quickly with the development of all these technologies. I think that people fail to recognize the significance of exactly how Cardano has been positioning itself. And I don't think that it's entirely necessary for Cardano to have all these different things that a lot of people in the comments are often criticizing it for. I think that Cardano is doing exactly what it needs to do, and basically the team and all these different things are well aware and educated as far as how to drive this thing. And of course we see supply chain and all these different things that blockchain and all these different aspects of it that really do stand to reshape the way that so many different things function. That I mean, it's going to be very exciting to see how cryptocurrency in the near future and of course in the long term have this huge potential to definitely reshape the way that the average everyday person basically approaches how they do everything. I mean, blockchain stands to reshape so many of these different aspects, and which is another reason why it's very difficult to ignore a project like Cardano that is such a look into the future. It's scary for a lot of people to actually comprehend the significance and the real totality of what stands to be changing, as far as all these different things go. And when we want to talk about clothing brands that want to protect themselves from counterfeit, and they're basically, it's interesting to see Cardano being chosen as that selection. And I want to also talk about we have PayPal withdraws from Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency. And I think that the writing is already on the wall. I think that Facebook is largely viewed as a red flag. I think that Libra will serve to do a lot of things like starving out a lot of the normies who think that it's, I mean, because I think Libra will have its place, as far as, performance wise, and of course, bringing many people into the cryptocurrency space who, otherwise on an international level, it will achieve that way. So I'm not necessarily able to just sit here and bash Libra coin because it has gotten a lot of people talking about it who wouldn't otherwise. The cryptocurrency community is right now in the danger of an echo chamber. I mean, it's essentially the same YouTubers as it's always been, creating content on these topics and discussing a lot of these different aspects of it. And of course, this is why I'm in such a privileged position to actually be able to have this dialogue. I mean, so whether you value my opinion or not, I mean, it's one of the only ones that you have access to at this time. But I mean, it will be interesting to see how a lot of these different dynamics actually play out. And sure, I mean, I'm very bullish on where we expect to see Cardano. Of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your dad. You got to make sure to do your own research on these things. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed this content, and I'll see you guys